Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. जाग रहे हैं आप लोग पीछे? Is everything connected? Amir, can you see me? If you can see me, wave your hand. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Is it good morning? Is it still good morning? Good morning. Gentlemen, ladies, Vice Chancellor, Dean, Chief Guest, keynote speakers, faculty members, and last but not least, very dear and valued students. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, so I have to say quite a few things. First of all, I must thank technology, which gave me this opportunity to offer my keynote speech before our colleague from Malaysia. But I would like to have this reassurance by Mohsin and colleagues that they would not interrupt me in the middle, that now we are connected. So I would like uninterrupted 15 to 20 minutes. Is that okay, Mohsin? Is that a commitment? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. So, gentlemen, ladies, I would start with, given that I am in the heart of Sindh, I think it would be appropriate if I start with a poem by Sheikh Ayaz. Kya khayal hai? Students, are you ready? Good, good. Look, I must also give credit to Wahid Umrani that he corrected my pronunciation for the first line in this Sindhi poem. And it says that, Asautte moti vanjar chahiyu tha. We would like to return to that place. We would like to return to that place where rice, where paddy, their corn, their straw, their roots know our language. So you see that this theme, that our agriculture, our nature is connected with our language. This is a very important theme, and I would be touching upon this theme, that how nature and knowledge, how nature and language, how they are interconnected. So if I were to offer a brief overview of the topic, surely the theme of the conference is technology, but I would like to connect technology with nature, and I would like to connect technology with culture, and that would be my theme in this, if we call it, my submission keynote speech. So the motivation, as I'm sure that you have already identified, and that's also there in the slide in front of you, is learning from nature and culture, and that's why I referred to Sheikh Ayaz, that look, if we have to learn our own language, if we have to learn our own culture, then we have to be willing to learn from nature. So let me, while I refer to Sheikh Ayaz, and surely there are many such instances in the poetry in my own language, Saraiki language, Khwaja Ghulam Farid often talks about Rohi and Cholistan, and Shah Abdul Latif Bhitai also refers to sun and sand and so on and so forth. So there is a recurring reference to nature in disseminating wisdom, in retrieving wisdom from many various sources. But these sources of wisdom are not only confined to the Pakistani or the Sindhi or the Saraiki context. Here I would offer a selection of, I would say, wisdom from a global context. So let's start with the founder of Taoism. They call him Lao Tzu or Lao Tzu. And Lao Tzu says that around 2,500 years ago, 2,600 years ago, and Lao Tzu says that nature does not hurry. Nature is not in a haste, yet everything is accomplished. So the first lesson, I think, that we as organizations, we as nations, we as universities, we as business schools can learn from nature is that everything takes time. As you have yourself experienced, mashallah, once again, congratulations to Sukkur IBA University and to their Department of Management for being ASCSB accredited. And this was a journey of 10 years. Yeah. We have been through this at LUMS, and I know that it took us more than 10 years. It does take time. So that's what Lao Tzu says. Now let's go to around the same era, 2,500 years ago, and we are talking about a pre-Socrates philosopher. His name is Zeno. And Zeno says that the goal of life is living in agreement with nature. So gentlemen, ladies, that is something which we really have to discover or rediscover, that how we can learn to live in agreement, in consonance with nature, not in conflict with nature. If we are in conflict with nature, then we would suffer. If we would not suffer, our future generations would suffer. So we have to learn. We have to learn to coexist with nature. So that is a wisdom which is coming from 2,500 years ago. Let's go to Da Vinci, and you know Da Vinci, if not the least, not only because of the Da Vinci Code, which was a film, I believe, but also because of Mona Lisa. Those of you who have been to Louvre, I'm sure that they have seen this painting. And Da Vinci says that nature is the source of all true knowledge. It's only that we have to realize. And then we go to Isaac Newton, and Newton says that nature is pleased with simplicity. Keep it simple. Keep your paper simple, keep your family simple, keep your houses simple, and you would meet ecstasy, you would meet content, you would meet satisfaction. Finally, in relatively recent times, the American essayist and novelist, Ralph Waldo Emerson, he says that adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. Once again, the same thing. It's closing the loop. We started with the founder of Taoism who says that everything is accomplished, but nature doesn't hurry. And the same message is being given by Emerson as well. Now, look, we can say that, look, we are not in the West, we are not in China, so therefore we also have to root our own knowledge in the context of, for example, Asia or in a Muslim majority context. So let's go to our roots in terms of Islamic wisdom, given that we are a 96-97% Muslim majority country. So I think it would be appropriate if I were to retrace some of that wisdom within, for example, within Islamic teachings. So here I would like to refer to, I have been able to identify a couple of verses within the Holy Quran which do talk about nature and which do in a way remind us of our responsibility that we are here to respect nature. We are not here to corrupt nature. We are not here to pollute nature. And the first is follow the nature. And the word which Allah uses, which the divine uses in the Holy Quran is fitra. Fitra is the word which is used for nature, that follow the nature designed by Allah, the nature according to which He has fashioned mankind or humankind. There is no altering the creation of Allah. Sunnatullah. That cannot be changed. That has to be respected. So that was in chapter number 30, but there is another couple. And do not commit abuse on this planet, spreading corruption or pollution. So we are here as custodians, but we are not allowed to pollute. We are not allowed to corrupt the gift which has been given to us. And finally, if he were a person who is corrupt, a person who is tyrannical, a person who is only centered around his or her own, for example, material needs, if he were to wield authority, he would try to cause corruption in the land and to ruin the crop and the stock. You see that here there is a direct indication that, look, we have to be custodian of the planet, and we have to be custodian of animals, and we have to be custodian of botanical subjects. So there is a clear message, not only in the global wisdom, but also in the Islamic wisdom. So coming all of this and bringing all of this to the theme of this conference, which is how we can learn from technology and how technology can be utilized in order to reconceptualize sustainability. My argument would be that, look, perhaps we need to learn from a biomimetic approach. We have to learn to study. We have to study the nature, and then we should be able to incorporate nature in the way we are conceptualizing, for example, management. We are conceptualizing sustainability. We are conceptualizing, for example, our approach to education and its administration. So the term biomimetics is very clear. Bio means life, and mimesis means copying or mimicking. And it's a disciplinary field. And I think that that is also the way forward. If I remain confined to my own expertise in the subject of, for example, human resource management or operations management or biology or mathematics, I would not be able to offer resolution to the issues which currently the humankind, the people everywhere, including in Pakistan, we are facing. So it has to be a multidisciplinary resolution, and that's where the biomimicry would be an appropriate intervention. It refers to a method or process which imitates the models, systems, or elements of nature for the purpose of solving complex human problems. And what exactly are the common problems which are facing, for example, humanity not only across the world but also in Pakistan? Food is one major issue. Water is another major issue. Energy is another major issue. And these are three, I would say, perennial issues, major chronic issues, which are facing not only people in Pakistan, but also elsewhere. So therefore, I think that there is a great opportunity. There is a great necessity for us to learn from nature. So the focus is this, that my argument is that business schools and businesses, we can learn from nature and develop processes and products that are innovative, that are technology oriented, but technology should be on the basis of learning and coexisting with nature. But surely for a businessman, you see that social responsibility is important for a businessman, but more important for a businessman is the business case. That what exactly would be there in terms of the bottom line. So the research so far, it does suggest that, look, that learning from nature also is helpful in reduction of cost through efficient use of resources. So there is both a social case and a business case. So I would offer a few examples now, examples from across the world that how biomimetics and how learning from nature and coexisting with nature can be a useful way for us to be incorporated in the way we are conceptualizing education. Okay, so the first example is here, the Namib desert beetle. It's a beetle. It's a small insect. And how we can learn from a small insect. So the insect operates in environments where there is a shortage of water, but there is moisture in the air. And the beetle, the way it has been designed by the creator, by the divine, is this, that it can absorb the moisture, and then that moisture which is absorbed from the atmosphere is converted into water, which is then utilized by the Namib desert beetle. If we could play the first video, please. So thank you. So that was that was an example of the areas which are arid, where there is a water shortage, and we can learn from divine creations in order to be able to retrieve water and then utilize water for drinking purposes, for irrigation purposes, and so on and so forth. I've got a few more examples, but I will give you just one more example, and that would be the bullet train. Those of you who have been to Japan, they know that the bullet train is known as Shinkansen, and Shinkansen train. Originally, the design was not really a beaky kind of, the front of the train. That was not really the design. And surely there was a wastage of energy. There was a wastage not only in terms of energy, but also wastage of speed and so on and so forth. So where did they learn from that? Look, there is a possibility for them to modify the design of the train, and they learned it from kingfisher bird, which is found abundantly in Pakistan and also around Indus. Darya Sindh के आसपास आपको नजर आता है kingfisher fish का शिकार करते does hunt fish. So the final design of the front of the bullet train, it was inspired by the beak of the kingfisher bird. Which is an example of biomimetic innovation. So the engineers then they redesigned the train's nose to mimic the beak of the bird to significantly reduce the noise and the obstruction, improving the speed and energy efficiency. Video number 2, please. Okay, those of you who have been to Iran, there is a city, I think that's also now in the UNESCO's heritage list, some of those buildings. It is called Yazd, and it is located in a desert. And the way its buildings have been designed, they are more like, they call them Badgird or something like this. And basically, if I translate that into English, that is wind catchers. The way the buildings have been designed in a very hot, arid desert environment, the air is caught right at the tower, and the air is brought to the house, and then through the circulation, the air becomes cool. And where exactly did they get the inspiration from? They got the inspiration from termite mounds. जब आप जाते हैं, whenever you go to the outside, to the land, you see that sometimes there is a heap of mound, there is a heap of earth, and basically there are termites which live there, but they are not suffocated because there are tunnels within the termite mound, and those termite mounds, they are now a source of inspiration for the designing of buildings. And not only that was the case 2,000 years ago, but even today, for example, in Zimbabwe, in Harare, there is a famous building which is called Eastgate Center, which has been exactly designed on the model of a termite mound. So this means that in terms of the energy efficiency, it's a 90% efficient building. So in terms of the air conditioning requirements, for example, if they were to spend $100,000 per year in terms of air conditioning, now they have to spend only $10,000. So So there is a business case. It's not just a social case. There is also a business case of learning from nature. But why exactly am I having this talk and having this conversation while we are sitting almost in a business school? Because I believe that we in universities and we in business schools, there is a great opportunity for us to learn from biomimetics and coexistence with nature. And there are a few things which we can do in the way we design academic programs and the way we design courses. Okay, for example, sustainability and corporate responsibility course. So I'm sure that many universities, many schools, they have a course or two on sustainability and corporate responsibility. Rotterdam School of Management, I was looking at it. It offers a course on sustainable innovation and business, which includes nature-inspired biomimetic principles. So if they can do it, we can also do it. So this means that 1 or 2 lectures within a course on sustainability, they may also be focused on how we can learn from nature and how we can learn from biomimetic principles in order to improve our approach to sustainability. That would be one thing. In terms of the business examples, there are quite a few examples. Interface Incorporated is a modular carpet manufacturer, and they learned that by designing their carpet to mimic the forest floor, how forest floor is, for example, intertwined in the shape of a carpet. So that is also something which we could learn from. The other course which comes to my mind is entrepreneurship and innovation programs. So Stanford Graduate School of Business, it offers a course which is innovation and entrepreneurship from a design and system perspective, where students also learn to apply biomimetic principles to create innovation startups. Product design and development courses can also benefit from this. Example course would be MIT Sloan School of Management offers a course on product design and development, which does include the nature-inspired principles in the conceptualization of sustainability. Strategic management as well. Given that I have already offered my submission that nature-inspired resolution is not only a good social case, but also a good business case. You see that organizations in Pakistan as well as elsewhere, currently they are facing with 2 major issues. And those issues are, number 1, succession planning, family businesses, and also non-family businesses. But the second thing is sustainability of their business. So sustainability of their business may also be ensured if they give due attention to, for example, nature-inspired principles. So these examples I offered to illustrate the potential of integrating nature-inspired solutions, incorporating them into our curricula and incorporating them in the way we conceptualize management and leadership. In the Pakistani context, we know that we are a sunlight-rich country. Ask me, I lived in the UK for 10 years. तरसता था कि मुझे सूरज नज़र आए कुछ दिनों के लिए, ख़ास तौर पर when you are in the north of England जी. Ask people in North America, ask people in Scandinavia, they would like to see more and more of sun, and we have, mashallah, this thing available to us 300 days a year. So this is a great gift of the divine, but we have to make use of it. We are also a water and glacier-rich country. It's the way we have to utilize it. We are also mineral-rich country. In terms of population, we are the 5th most populous country in the world. If we were not able to utilize it fully, then this is a burden. But if we were able to utilize these resources, then surely we can make a difference not only for our own country, but also for our own planet. So I would say that techniques such as mimic natural water flow patterns and learning from just building designs in Iran, it can also help us. It can help us not only managing our water crisis, but also our energy crisis. So let me offer some final words. In sum, living in peaceful coexistence with nature is not only in line with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, but also in line with global and Islamic teachings and philosophies. And in other words, a biomimetic approach has both a business case and a social case. Finally, I would say that as Ralph Waldo Emerson says, adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. Now, finally, how many of you understand Saraiki? Those who understand Saraiki, raise your hand. Okay, that's what I expected. We are in Sukkur and not too far from Saraiki areas. Now look, there is a very famous, I don't expect that many of you have heard that kalam by Suraya Multanikar. Suraya Multanikar is a great Saraiki singer. If you go on YouTube and you search, then you would find out that there is also a famous song sung by Suraya Multanikar which says that khadi dendi ha suneha ina loga ku Allah an wasave sadiyan jhokan ku. If we really are concerned about our villages, our towns, our cities, really we need to pay attention to the voice of learning and coexisting with nature. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.